And you're welcome. For our big report today, starting the show for a Saturday, or rather a Sunday edition, we focus on Borno State, where efforts to resettle displaced communities are gaining momentum. Now, the Nigerian police force has reiterated its commitment to supporting its crucial process, pledging to, increase its operational presence and also deepen interagency collaborations. Now, this promise comes as part of the force's broader strategy to ensure safety and stability in areas that were once ravaged by insurgency. The State Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Yusufu, disclosed this during the presentation of the Police Annual Crime Data Report for 2024, where a total of 721 crime cases were recorded in Borno State. With the new year underway, the police have outlined plans to bolster security and help create an environment where displaced families can now return, rebuild, and also thrive. So let's take a closer look at the report and the ongoing effort in Borno State. We'll be bringing that report put together by our correspondent, Umaru Kirawa. But joining us here before we show that, to provide more insight into how he gathered that report, is our News Central correspondent, Umaru Kirawa. Umaru, let's say good morning to you. How are you? Okay, I'm hoping that we can work on that audio so we can hear you. But let's take a look at that report now before we come into discussing about Borno State.
It's another successful day for officers and men of the Borno State Police Command. The Police Commissioner, Mohammed Yusufu, is out to brief the press on the command's successes in the year 2024.
The command has reported incidences of felonious crime, misdemeanor, and other simple offenses, totaling 367. Of this total number, 721 suspects were arrested, 257 charged to court, while 110 are still under investigation.
The report by the Commissioner indicated a continued focus on criminal activities such as armed robbery, kidnapping and human trafficking, which have affected both urban and rural communities.
Our projection is in line with the IGP vision to reduce crime to the barest minimum nationwide, at least by 30%. Now, the command intends to sustain robust, proactive policing by ensuring that Maiduguri Metropolis maintain its status as one of the safest and most secured state capital.
The security situation in Borno has seen improvement, with fewer incidents of insurgent attacks in the latter half of 2024. The Nigerian police force stressed that more work needs to be done to maintain security, especially in areas receiving displaced persons.
The Nigerian police force is the lead agency when it comes to internal security. So our projection for 2025 is how do we key in to this grand Borno restoration. To key into that one, we have to align with the transitional justice system by enhancing police presence in such communities where displaced persons have returned, and ensure that there is community participation in terms of our policing priority, as well as protection and promotion of human rights.
The police has urged the public to assist in the provision of timely information for response to aid in its crime-fighting efforts, particularly as many communities transition from displacement back to normalcy. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
And now, as before, introducing our News Central correspondent, Umaru Kirawa. Umaru, good morning to you once again. Let's see if we can hear you this time.
Yes, a very good morning,
Fantastic.
Mazino.
Thank you very much. We're also joined by Dauda Ilya, who is the spokesperson to the governor of Borno State. Mr. Dauda Ilya, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good. All right, now, let's start with you, Umaru. What are the specific measures did you find out the Nigerian police force has put or outlined to improve the interagency collaboration of security in Borno State? If you could start by telling us that.
Well, first, the State Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Yusufu, said, the police is the lead agency in terms of internal security. and it's critical in ensuring peaceful atmosphere for citizens to thrive, for citizens to go about their normal activities. But the case is slightly different for the situation in Borno, because Borno now is recovering from the years of insurgency orchestrated by the retrogressive Boko Haram insurgents, which have led to the displacement of millions of people, the death of unaccounted number of persons, teachers, so many people, destruction of communities, infrastructure like hospitals, so many things that were destroyed. But now the state is recovering from that pace because Borno is gradually picking up from the years of the insurgency. Maiduguri, like the Commissioner of Police said, is one of the peaceful city centers within the country, and sustaining that is what they want to do, and expanding it, not only Maiduguri, the capital city, but providing police presence in all the 27 local government areas of the state, which he said is also part of the vision and plan by the Inspector General of Police of Nigeria. And so it's a good development. Their presence is one of the strategy of actually helping in restoring peace and then giving a sense of hope to the displaced persons. We can take example of the recent visit by the state governor and others. He led the delegation to Abaram in Bama local government area. That location was deserted. Nobody was there for more than 13 years. In fact, even to some extent on the way to Abaram, all of the vehicles stopped. There was something happened. The security forces were saying that the place is this, the place is that, and all of a sudden the governor took lead. He took charge. He drove the car. He was leading the entourage into the bush, into Abaram in his quest to resettle that community, and nobody was there in the community. As such, there is no way resettlement can take place. As such, the presence of security forces, the police, the army, and all other security personnel is critical in ensuring that the resettlement process succeeds. The resettlement process thrives, because displaced persons in IDP's camp, and of course refugees in neighboring countries of Niger, Chad, and Cameroon are tired. They want to go back home. When we speak to them at the IDP's camp, they want to go back home. The visit I went to Chad recently, I spoke with some of the refugees. They want to go back home. They are tired of staying in restricted areas. They want to go back to pick up the pieces of their lives.
Kirawa, let's talk to the governor's spokesperson, and that is Mr. Ilya Daudu. I would like to know, from a governance point of view, what focus the government has when it comes to resettling people, especially, as Kirawa has noted, the people who have left Borno who would like to come back to resettle.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. One of the cardinal objectives of His Excellency, Professor Babagana Umaru, is to resettle all displaced persons and refugees that are Borno indigenes back to their communities. And in 2024, His Excellency was able to resettle many communities, particularly in Dikwa, where Gajubo community was resettled, and in Bama, Ngurosei community was also resettled, and many other communities. And in 2025, His Excellency has a target. He said he wants to close down one of the biggest IDP camp in the state, which is the Bama IDP camp. Bama is the third largest local government area in Borno State, and is one of the local government areas that was severely devastated. I can say that the devastation in Bama is much more than in any other local government area. So the reconstruction work started when His Excellency was the Commissioner of Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement. And up to now, the reconstruction effort is ongoing. But he felt that the people of Bama should at least go back to their communities. They don't need to continue to stay in IDP camps because it's demeaning for a person that has a house, has a family, to continue to live in IDP camp. So he started with Ngorosei, he started with Banki. These are agrarian communities, these are business communities. So what he wants is not only to resettle them, but to give them a means of livelihood. Most of them are farmers. So what he started is this year, he started his first official working day in 2025 by visit to Abaram, like Kirawa has rightly stated. Abaram is about 10 kilometers away from Bama metropolis, and there was no human presence in that community for more than 10 years. And His Excellency felt that there's a need to resettle these people back to their communities. And he took the bull by the horn by visiting the devastated or the destroyed area of Abaram. He went there with the security chiefs and other community leaders of Abaram. So he observed and he studied the place, and he said there's a need to at least dig trenches so that there will be no infiltration of insurgents in that area, because the community is behind Kuru Muhammad Barak, one of the military barracks in Bama local government area. So he felt that the community should be settled and provide them with means of livelihood. Then he also visited Dara Jamal. Dara Jamal is also one of the largest community, one of the biggest community in Bama, which also borders part of Cameroon Republic. So he went there. Already construction work is ongoing. There is provision for schools and other social amenities, like the Commissioner of Police has rightly stated. First, what His Excellency normally do when he wants to settle community is to have assurance from the security agencies that this place is secured, provide civil authorities, which include constructing police station, courts, and other very critical infrastructure there. Then rebuilding of communities will start. More than 500 houses are currently undergoing construction there. So he wants to resettle the people of Dara Jamal. Then from there, he will proceed. There's a community called Mayanti, also in Bama. There's a community also called Kumshi, also in Bama local government area, and several other communities that he wants to resettle, so that there will be no presence of IDP camp in Bama local government area. All the people will go back to their communities, and like I know Kirawa has also reported that His Excellency has given farm inputs to over 5,000 farmers in Bama local government area. So these people cannot farm if they have not gone back to their communities. And as part of the effort to bring back refugees back to the country, there's a presidential committee on the resettlement and repatriation of Nigerian refugees back, and His Excellency is also the co-chair of that committee. So what they are doing is in 2025 to ensure that they have repatriated all Nigerian refugees back. Those that are residing, they are taking refuge in Niger, in Chad, and Cameroon, so that they will also come back to their country and they will continue to have their normal life.
I mean, it's one thing to resettle and have a normal life. Another is a transition to acclimatize to, going back to, what is sort of alien at first, right? But I also like to talk about, the joint task force in this resettlement of Nigerian refugees, particularly the military, and what role are they playing here? How best, especially when you throw in insecurity in all of this.
Well, the military are doing a very wonderful job. Not only the military, we have other security agencies like the police, civil defense. Like you said, it's a joint operation. That is why it is called Operation Hiding Kai for the theater command here in the Northeast, where all the security agencies are operating under one roof. Likewise, the MNJTF also, is a joint operations between Nigerian troops, Chad, Cameroon, Niger. So they are providing security at the border communities. And like I rightly stated, Bama is one of the border communities. Banki specifically borders Cameroon. If you take far north, Baga, Kirawa, they also border Chad, part of Chad, and in the northern part as well, like Abadam, Damasak, the Nigeria borders, Niger, in that axis. So the military, they are doing a very wonderful job. In 2024, we have not witnessed any major security breach like we've used to experience in previous years. And that shows the gallantry and effort of the military to ensure that there is total normalcy in Borno State and particularly at the border community. Fishing activities is thriving in Baga area. Farming activities is ongoing in Damasak. And Banki commercial activities is ongoing. On our way to Bama, you see these heavy trucks moving to Banki area, that is the border community. So it shows that business activities is ongoing in all the border communities. And that's part of the singular effort of Nigerian military and other security agencies, and also troops of other sister countries.
Okay, Kirawa, I was wondering if you could give us an idea of what the anatomy of the community is like in these areas that Ilya has just spoken about. What kind of commerce happens in these places that would actually make the people want to come back? Because it's one thing to resettle, it's another thing for people to thrive. That would mean their businesses would have to thrive. So what is it like there when it comes to businesses or occupation?
Mostly these communities like the SA Media and spokesperson to the Borno State Governor, Dodo Ilya said, they are mostly agrarian communities. And, the economy is not smiling, and people have to really work to survive. And depending on handouts or on government and aid by development partners, is no longer sustainable. That's what even the governor is saying. And even the people are yearning to go back home so that they can really pick up the pieces of their lives. Particularly areas like Baga is well known for fish. And we've done reports on fish in Baga. It's just that the communities down there are complaining that there is this lower denomination of currency in the area. And communities like Kirawa, communities like Banki, Bama is well known for onion farming. The Nguro say that the spokesperson of the governor said is well known for onion farming, and communities in particularly the border communities, the Gamborungala, the Kirawa, Banki, and others, they are well known for transborder trade, transborder businesses. As such, the communities, if people are there, they will really enjoy doing their businesses, earning their means of livelihood. And of course, self-sufficiency is better than depending on handouts. As such, there are so many things to enjoy while staying on their own in their communities, particularly if the communities are secured, safe for business, for farming, and you can. It's yesterday or day before yesterday that the governor flagged off the distribution of farm agricultural inputs to farmers, where he slashed the cost of liter of petrol to them in Bama for 600 naira per liter to the farmers. This is to encourage them to go back to the farm. As such, I think resettling them to their communities will go a long way in really helping not only the displaced persons, but also boosting the GDP of the country.
And lastly, let me come to you, Mr. Dauda Iliya, and ask about, the basic amenities. Are these being provided for them in these areas? I mean, and particularly healthcare, primary healthcare, amenities such as, schools, mosques, drinking water. Are these provided to just help, with a smoother transition into these communities?
Yes, thank you very much. His Excellency Professor Babagana Umaru, his resettlement drive is to ensure dignified return of the displaced persons. Hitherto, before the insurgency, most of these communities live in thatch and mud houses. But what His Excellency felt is these people are also requires, or they should have the basic amenities like any other citizen that should have in the country. So what he does is to construct a befitting house, minimum 2-bedroom housing units to each and every household, and also provide them with livelihood. Sometimes he gives livestock to these farming communities, particularly to the women. What he does is to give the women livestock, pair of goats, so that they will also have to earn their means of livelihood. And like you said also, schools is part of a criteria of every resettled community to have a school. For Dar Jamal, there's a provision for primary and junior secondary school in Dar Jamal, and also a primary healthcare center, so that the community can live in a peaceful manner. They don't need to be moving from one locality to other, seeking for healthcare or education. And also, there's also provision for market, particularly Dar Jamal. A shopping mall is also part of the plan to construct a shopping mall, so that the community will also undertake business activities. And His Excellency, specifically in Dar Jamal, stressed one thing, that girl child education is very important. And the school there is constructed, is supported and by the intervention of Agile. That is a World Bank project, so that the aspect of girl child education will also be promoted, particularly in the resettled communities. Gone are the days when girls will just be abandoned, engaging in destitute and other activities. If His Excellency felt that the girl child should also be given education, they should have a means of livelihood. They should also, because what we have in Borno State is to have female-headed household, where the insurgents have killed many of their husbands and the heads of households. So we have female-headed household. So if you don't empower the women, certainly they will have challenge going forward. So that is part of His Excellency's effort to ensure that he empowers women, make sure that he gives them the needed education that they need, at least in secondary school, and also further their education. And that is why he also provided scholarships for Borno indigenous further their studies. All this are the entire package, complete package of His Excellency's effort towards recovery, towards restoration, to ensure that Borno, at least in the next 3-4 years, will restore its lost glory as the state of peace, hospitality, and development.
Mr. Iliya, while we're still on this topic of security and resettlement, we know that most of these communities are on the border with other countries. So what apparatus has been put in place when it comes to border control? We've seen instances in other states, like in Sokoto, where we have the infiltration of insurgents, a new kind of insurgents, the Kirawas. So have there been any consideration given to these concerns?
Yes, the presence of multinational joint task force has really helped. And the presence of multinational joint task force dates even before the emergence of Boko Haram insurgency. But now that they have been strengthened, and with also the presence of hybrid forces, what we call hybrid forces is these organizations that the groups, for instance, civilian JTF, hunters, vigilantes, which are very familiar with the terrain because they are mostly from that community. So with their help, the military is also strengthened because they have people that are familiar with that terrain. So the operations will be seamless. And that is why we've not had any major security breach in the border community. Like I told you earlier, Gamborungala, business activities is thriving in Gamboru. Banki is also a border area. Business activities is thriving there. Baga also is a border area. Damasak, Mobile local government area, is a border area. So business activities is thriving along this border community. And that shows that the community is also aligning with the effort of the military, particularly the MNJTF, towards providing security in that area. So they are really supporting them. And as well, the military have also realized that there's a need to also provide security for these people so that they will also continue with their means of livelihood, because if the community is deserted, the military is also vulnerable to attacks. But with the presence of the community, with the presence of people, and they know that they are aligning with them, they are supporting the military, certainly peace will be restored in such communities. So with the presence of MNJTF and the hybrid forces, the situation is normalizing.
And I mean, gentlemen, I must say thank you for taking out the time and just to have this discussion with us. But finally, for you, Kirawa, have you been able to speak to any of the resettlers, and what have their thoughts been in just covering this report? What was something that you miss out in putting this report for us?
Well, I think I will need to do a follow-up story with time, so that I'll find out how they are picking up the pieces of their lives now that the government has provided agricultural input for them. So we'll have to, in the nearest future, we'll have to look at reviving agricultural activities in Borno, particularly in displaced communities, to look at how they are picking up the pieces of their lives. I think that is important.
Very important. Umaru, many thanks for doing this with us. Umaru Kirawa, our correspondent in Borno, Maiduguri, and then, of course, the spokesperson for the governor of Borno State, Mr. Dauda Iliya. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you for doing this.